I told you some of the best ways to harvest bucks is not just by saddles, guys, nor tree stands. It's hunting on the ground. And on this week's episode, guys, that's exactly what we're talking about here. I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks that I use to get bucks while hunting on the ground. So welcome back to the channel, guys. Really, really excited about this episode. And let's just get right into it, guys. Let's do it. Before we get into the tips and tricks on ground hunting, hey man, there is 3 main reasons why ground hunting is just awesome, and to me kind of surpasses everything else. Is one, anybody can do it, no matter what the age, no matter what your skill level is, if you're a beginner or you're a pro at deer hunting. And then 3, the mobility. You are able to just hop around and just cover so much ground, guys, while you are ground hunting. It is just unbelievable, instead of being stuck up in one tree or having just multiple spots to where you just can't be mobile, or you can't climb up the tree anymore. We getting old, guys. Getting up them trees, it takes a little bit longer than it used to be for me in my 20s. So being on the ground has its advantages. So definitely think about that, and definitely kind of chew on that a little bit. Don't get discouraged because maybe some of your buddies are up against or are hanging up in a tree. I have just as much success on the ground as those guys up in the tree and those guys up in stands or saddles and all that other stuff. So, but I just wanted to let you guys know just the 3 big time advantages of hunting on the ground. So let's get into the tips and tricks of ground hunting. So guys, here we go. Let's learn how to ground hunt, shall we? Let's do it. Okay. So I have 10 just awesome tips and tricks that can help you tremendously. Okay. And we're going to go through each one. I'm going to give you a little bit of a brief description, how I would do things, just give you a little bit of a rundown of each one. So, okay. So here's the first one. You got to find a spot, right? But here's the one thing. Here's the kicker, guys. Okay. Let Mother Nature help you. Let Mother Nature help you find those spots. Let Mother Nature point you in the right direction. And what I mean by that is find the rub lines, find the scrapes, find the trails, find where they're coming out of thicket, find how these deer are using this specific area to get from one point to another. Okay, let Mother Nature help you to guide you into the right path, and then you can start to set up accordingly. So definitely what I would do, guys, is I would go into this area that you're interested in, and I would definitely look around and try to find sign, trying to find fresh sign, try to decipher when that sign was put there, all this, that, and the third. Okay, that would definitely help you hone in on a real good spot for you to do the rest of the 9 tips and tricks that I'm about to tell you. Okay, so definitely find a spot and let Mother Nature help you do so. Okay. Number 2, look for natural cover spots like overhanging canopies on trees, stumps, deadfall. Okay, these are what I hone in the most. Okay, is natural ground blinds, basically. Okay, without you having to disturb the lay of the land and manipulate some of your spots too much. This is a big thing, guys, is I definitely find natural cover. Okay, if I can get up against a stump or hide behind a stump. My biggest personal thing that I love to do, and it's 2, is get behind deadfall, like all the trees that are falling with all the branches and stuff everywhere. I get behind those awesome natural ground blinds, guys. And what I do is I look for pine trees that are really the canopy is really close to the ground. And if you ever got underneath one of those things before, guys, and it's kind of like a cave. Okay, you have all this natural cover over you to where you can bend some twigs and get some shooting lanes through some areas, and it is a natural ground blind. Like pine trees And deadfall are amazing spots for me. That's where I kind of have the most luck, and that's kind of what I look for the most, while I'm out here scouting for potential ground blind and ground hunting spots, but definitely, guys, if you can, like I said, if you can find an old stump too to kind of lean up against, or I even seen somebody, it was crazy, that he was actually able to get inside the stump. Like, how cool is that, right? So I mean, hey, if you can find it, you can make it work, make it work. That is awesome thing to do. Number 3, there again, don't manipulate the spot too much. Okay, what I mean by that is, if you're just pulling here and there, if you're on private property and you're cutting shooting lanes, and you're making highways for airplanes to come through, deer are going to pick you up. They're going to figure you out, and then they are going to be completely avoiding you, and you're going to be sitting in your spot wondering why you're not seeing any deer. Well, because you manipulated the spot too much. Okay, it's kind of like, I kind of have a little bit of OCD. Okay, I like to have things a little bit clean, a little bit organized. I can tell if somebody comes into my bedroom or my house. That little thing, that little piece is, if it's moved to the right or moved to the left just a little bit, I notice that. Deer are the same way. So don't manipulate the spot too much, okay? And if you do that, I'm telling you guys, they will figure you out, they'll pattern you, and then you are completely out of the game before you even get out of the truck, okay? They won't be there. And then you're possibly doing an all-day sit, like I said, not seeing any deer, and you're like, what in the world? Because they figured you out, okay? Number 4, this is a big one for me, guys, okay? There again, like I said, I look for the pine trees, I look for the deadfall, I look for, some of the old stumps, if I can find old stumps. Number 4 is soft ground. Move the debris, okay? Move the debris from it, okay? Especially under pine trees, guys, those pine needles make the ground soft. So what I do is I actually have like a little tiny rake in my backpack, and I scrape all the pine needles away, and I make it to where if I have to move a little bit, I'm not making noise. I look for that soft ground a little bit, to where it's for one, it's nicer to sit on, and 2, it's easier to move. Okay, so that's exactly what I look for. Okay, and like I said, I move the debris, I get all the sticks out of it, I get everything. I want to see kind of like bare dirt, you know. And ultimately, too, if you do that under pine trees and you start moving all the dirt and stuff, you kind of smell pine. So what you're getting is a natural cover scent. So that's kind of what I look for too. That is a major thing for me. Here's one thing that I do too. I don't do it too often, but it does work. And we're talking about maneuverability. Being able to move around if there is a deer. Okay, dig a hole 1 foot into the ground. Okay, instead of sitting Indian style, you basically have your feet in the hole, and you're basically sitting like in a chair. And you know who did that before? Fred Bear. Fred Bear used to do that all the time. He was notorious for that. Big time ground hunter. If you know who I'm talking about, hopefully you do. But he did that. He would dig a hole 1 foot, and then he would put his legs in there, and then he basically was able to kind of creep up and then have complete 360 shot with his bow, and it was just insane. We all know about Fred Bear. If you don't know about Fred Bear, I don't know where you've been at. Okay, you've been underneath a rock. But definitely, guys, if that's something that you try it, it works. It would be awesome to do. Okay, number 6 is enter and leave as a ghost. Okay, especially during when you are on the ground. Okay, don't leave as much cover scent. What you got to find is, like on your boots, try to get in to a spot and leave a spot as a ghost. Okay, we don't want these deer figuring you out. Okay, a lot of times, what a lot of people don't know is when you are sitting on the ground, your butt's on the ground, you're leaving scent on that ground. Okay, we want to be as scent free as possible, right? So we want to do everything completely right. Remember when I said when I would, use my little rake and move the leaves and stuff like that? What I would do is when I leave, I would push all the stuff back over it. Okay, try to cover as much of my scent and much as my trail as possible. Okay, so that's, like I said, guys, that is very, very important. Come in as a ghost and leave as a ghost. All right, and it will really, really help you in the end. And number 7, guys, it is a big one. Okay, big one for me. I am a big advocate, again, of being scent free. Okay, I got a little bit of a hacks that you can use if you're going to be on the ground and trying to be scent free. Okay, what I do, guys, is I go to any type of like Kroger, Walmart, whatever it may be, and I get the hypoallergenic kind of like baby wipes. It has no dyes, no perfumes, no nothing. It's completely scent free. Okay, and what I do is when I get to my spot, I have those wipies in a Ziploc bag. Okay, I don't have the Ziploc bag to where you have to pinch them. You can kind of hear the little strap. I have the where it has like the little zipper top on it. Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. What I do is I put some of those wipies in that bag to where it's less noisy for me to open the bag once I get to my spot. What I do is I wipe my face, I wipe the back of my neck, I'll take my hat off, I'll wipe my hair, um, my beard and everything like that, my hands. And then what I do is I have a separate Ziploc baggie that's in my backpack to put those wipes in that are, the dirty wipes, in the same, zip top backpacks. So basically, we're just trying to control our odor. Okay, with us going to spots and we have to go travel through some of these spots in the dark and we're going over logs and stuff like that. Hey man, just like everybody else, I sweat too. So as soon as I get to the spot, that's what I'm doing, is I'm trying to get scent free as I possibly can before I sit down and before I do my all day sit. Okay, or however long sit you like to do. I like to do all day sits. So definitely be as scent free as possible, especially when you're on the ground. Okay. Number 8, go where the bucks are. Okay. If you are seeing a tree stand here, a tree stand there, and you're setting up over there and you're not seeing any deer, you're hunting like everybody else. You're not going to have the same results as somebody that is in the game, so to say, of shooting megas. You're hunting like just Joe Schmo, so you're going to get the results like Joe Schmo. Go where the buck's at. Okay, use your OnX. Okay, hopefully you did some homework prior before you got into the spot. Don't be afraid to dive in on some of these spots. Okay, you're scent free. You did everything right so far. Push it a little bit. If you don't push that boundary line, like I said, you're going to be having the same bad luck as everybody else. So go where these bucks are going to be going. Okay, and a lot of times these bigger bucks, guys, there is no trees, there is no place to put a saddle. Okay, they're in the thickest, most gnarliest stuff, especially around river thickets and creek bottoms. Okay, which I absolutely love. Swamps, you know, I love stuff like that. Okay, mainly the creek bottoms. All right, the creek bottoms that's where I have the most luck, hands down. Okay, and definitely go where the bucks are. What I would do too is I would kind of invest in a ghillie suit. You don't really need the pants. I would highly recommend you get the coat and the top. Break your silhouette up a lot, and make sure that is scent free. Okay, what I do is if I buy a ghillie suit, let's say off Amazon, what I do is I actually get some scent free soap and I soak that top and that headgear overnight in, actually, no, 2 or 3 days. I let it soak in that water for 2 or 3 days in a bathtub, sink, whatever it may be, or in a Rubbermaid container, and then what I do is I pull it out. I don't even put it in the dryer, guys. I put a hanger through it, and I put it outside, and I let Mother Nature dry it. Automatically scent free. So definitely get invested in a ghillie suit if you're going to be doing some Rambo types hunting. That'd be, dude, I had tremendous luck doing that. So, and then number 9, make sure you can draw your weapon, whether it be a bow or gun. You know, if you start getting into the canopies like you are in pines or by like the deadfall, you know, or like you're up against a stump, make sure you could pull that bow back. Make sure that the limbs are going to be, you know, they're not going to be hitting any branches. Make sure that if you have your gun, make sure you are able to lift that gun up with ease, you know, very slowly, not hit the barrel on branches. You know, definitely make sure that you can draw your weapon up without very minimal, you know, that for them not to catch you doing it. Okay, that's a big one. Okay, number 10 and the last one, guys, hands down, like the top two, honestly, of what you really need to do here. Okay, is you need to make sure you have top cover. What I mean by that is don't sit next to this spot like this stump here. Don't sit next to this stump, okay? Because you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Okay. Make sure you have canopy over you. Break up your silhouette as much as possible. Okay. Go into the shady areas. Okay. And that's where it goes down to shadow casts. Pay attention to the sun when it's coming up and when it's going down. Okay, you don't want to be in a spot where the sun is hitting you directly in the face. Well, the deer are coming this way, and when you try to move, they pinpointed you out. You cast a shadow, which happened to me before. I moved just a little bit, guys. Boom, I got busted in the back because my shadow moved. So definitely watch your shadows and make sure you have plenty of top cover above you. Like I said, that's why I love pines, and that's why I love deadfall, because man, it just consumes you so much, and you can get away with a little bit more movement and being able to get the shot off pretty well. And there you have it, guys, the 10 tips and tricks that I use to be successful while hunting on the ground. And I guarantee you guys, if you do these 10 tips and tricks, you're going to have a tag filled in no time, whether it be bucks or does. It does not matter. You will get something on the ground. I absolutely guarantee it. So if you like what you're hearing and seeing, guys, please give me a subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. We're hitting 131 subscribers, and we just want to keep on going up, but we can't do it without you. So if you can, guys, just give me a subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. And like always, guys, always keep bringing traditions back home. Later, guys.